Hello everyone. In our last video, we learned how to take advantage of a Cloudmersive Spam API action which flags spam content in text input. In this video, we're going to demonstrate an advanced version of that API. The advanced version tells us whether text input contains unsolicited sales content, promotional content, or phishing content, in addition to flagging that text as clean like the basic version did. Just like last time, we'll find the code we need to call this API on the Cloudmersive Spam API Swagger UI page, which we can access through our Cloudmersive account portal. The action we're looking for is the third one down on this page. When we open this tab, we'll scroll down a bit to review a key difference in our advanced spam detection response model from the basic version. In addition to the clean result response, we also get flags which identify the specific type of spam detected. The possible categories are unsolicited sales, promotional content, and phishing. We'll also notice the API wants to give us a spam risk level diagnosis and a full analysis rationale, but these services aren't actually available just yet on the public API endpoint we'll be using today, so we're just going to ignore them for now. To structure our example API call, we'll click on the Python tab, reveal the pip command, and then copy all this code and paste it in our environment. I'll be using Google Colab as usual to demonstrate an example API call. We'll now run our pip command and wait for SDK installation to wrap up. While that's running, we'll go ahead and replace the API key placeholder string here with our actual API key. Mine is stored in the Google Colab Secrets tab, so I'm using the code Google provides to set my API key at runtime. Right below that, we'll then set the configuration object host attribute to the public Cloudmersive API endpoint, api.cloudmersive.com. We don't normally have to do this, but we do now because this API is very new and the base URL isn't automatically configured yet. We'll now focus on structuring our API request body. Back on the Swagger page, we might have noticed an example request body was already formed for us in the API tab. So to keep things simple, we'll just go copy that and store it as a variable called input in our code. We'll then adjust these booleans so they start with uppercase letters, because if we don't, our interpreter will get mad at us later. What we're going to learn through this example request is how the API categorizes what appears to be an obvious promotional spam message, the likes of which we've probably seen a million times in our email inbox. We'll now map this input object to our request. To do that, we'll just set the attributes of our body variable equal to key values from our input request object. We could also set these values directly, of course, if we wanted to remove some of the clutter from our code. Now that we've fully formatted our request, we'll take a look at our try except block. This is just going to print what the API sends back, which is all we want to do. So now we'll run our code and see what we get back. In our first example response, we'll notice we have a clean result false boolean, which tells us right away the API thinks we encountered spam. If we look at the flags below that, we'll see that the API doesn't think it's phishing, because there certainly isn't any definitive evidence of that, but it does think it's some form of promotional content or unsolicited sales. This doesn't mean that it's inherently dangerous, but it does mean we probably don't want it cluttering our channels, and that's pretty useful. Now we'll test with a different input. I'm going to replace this Bitcoin text with some new spam text that contains a URL. We've all probably seen a million messages like these telling us something's urgently wrong with some account and then giving us a URL to fix the issue. And it's usually a phishing attempt. We'll now run our code with this new input and see if it gets flagged as phishing. We'll notice now that the API still identifies the input text as spam, which is good. and it doesn't think it's promotional content or sales, which it definitely isn't. Rather, it thinks we're being phished by a spam message, which does appear to be the case. Under the hood, the API is checking the URL and saying, "This doesn't seem right. This seems like a routine threat." This solution can save us a lot of trouble by filtering or flagging spam very judiciously and preventing us and our application end users from having to deal with spam slipping through the cracks. And that's all there is to it. If you have any questions for us after following along with this video, please feel free to reach out to a member of our team. The Spam API is the latest addition to our API platform, and we're excited to make it available both for personal projects and enterprise-grade infrastructure.